For more, let's bring in Rochelle Harrison-Pless, who's following this vote for us from Sydney in Australia. Rochelle, of course, the ballots are still being counted, but we already have some idea of the outcome. Does this come as any real surprise?
No, it doesn't. Jacinda Ardern and her Labour Party are comfortably ahead with around 50% of the vote. So they are well on their way to clinching a second term in power. They have around 65 projected seats. A reminder that a party needs 61 seats to claim an outright majority, and that's something that hasn't been seen since 1996. But the New Zealand leader was never really at risk of being a one-term Prime Minister. She has successfully steered the country through a number of major crises. The Christchurch terror attacks in March last year, a deadly volcanic eruption in December, and now, of course, the coronavirus pandemic. Her response to COVID-19 has dominated this election, a vote that is being seen as a referendum on how she has handled the crisis. New Zealand, if you remember, adopted a go hard, go early approach, sealing its borders and locking down very early on, resulting in relatively few infections, only a couple of thousand infections and a handful of deaths. So with that management record, opposition leader Judith Collins of the centre-right National Party never really stood a chance. In any case, she's had a very tough time playing catch-up. She led a struggling campaign after taking the helm of the party just a few months ago, and that party is currently trailing with around 25% of the vote at the moment.
Now, Rochelle, you were just saying there that Jacinda Ardern has been, of course, widely praised for her leadership and her style of leadership during turbulent times. But we should just point out that her first term wasn't a total success either.
No, well, like you said, she is regarded as a competent leader, a strong leader, someone who is empathetic and compassionate. I mean, who can forget those images of Jacinda Ardern in the wake of the Christchurch terror attacks, wearing a headscarf and embracing members of the country's Muslim community. However, there is a view that she hasn't really delivered on her promises, and that if it wasn't for COVID, she might have had a trickier path to victory. One of her key promises was to tackle child poverty, but according to a recent UNICEF report, New Zealand is one of the worst places in the developed world to be a child. It ranked 35th out of 41 countries on child welfare issues such as physical health, mental well-being and education. And then there was also the Kiwi Build scheme, which was a bit of a flop. That was meant to combat the country's housing crisis, aiming to build 100,000 affordable homes by the year 2028. That initial target has since been scrapped, and as of August, only around 500 homes have been built. But with this second term looking more and more likely in the bag, it looks like Ardern will get a chance to perhaps fulfil some of those promises.
OK, Rochelle Harrison-Pless in Sydney, Australia. Thank you very much. Moving on.